What's up, vapors? Thanks for checking out Daily Vape TV. My name is Nick, and it's Fresh Build Friday. That's right, it's that time of the week again where we get you ready for the weekend with a brand new coil build. So we've done fuse Claptons, we've done micro fuse Claptons, we've done twisted fuse Claptons. Well, it's time for something a bit bigger. So I wanted to do this build today because I've got this Kennedy 25mm RDA, and I just wanted to put a big-ass build in it. So I thought to myself, what better build to do than a standard fuse Clapton just sized up a bit. So that's what we're going to be doing today. If you guys are building along with me, I would definitely recommend a larger RDA. If you've got something like a Temple or a Buddha or a Mason 30mm or something like that where you got a lot of room to build with, that would definitely be preferred for this particular build here because this one is going to span a lot of room. With that being said, let's go ahead and grab our mod, our addy, our wire, our tools, all that good stuff. Let's go down to the close-up view and build it up. Alright, ladies and gentlemen, as you can see, we've got our little Clapton jig rig tool that we're going to be using today. I've got some of this 24 gauge cheapo Kanthal wire, no big deal. On the spool here is some of this Mad Rabbit 36 gauge. This is Nichrome 80. So yeah, let's go ahead and get started. First thing we're going to do is take about 2 feet of this 24 gauge and straighten it out. So now that we have a nice straight piece of 24 gauge, we're just going to fold it in half and just line up your two ends here. Get them nice and even. And then what I like to do is just kind of run my fingers down the length of the wire and pinch the end. So once I get a good spot, just like to give it a little pinch there. Sometimes you can do it with your pliers, just like that. Alright, now we're going to take our clamp and run it through the biggest hole possible because these are going to be some rather large coils. Run it through the biggest hole and through the back of our tool, just like that. Usually what I like to do with this end here is just kind of give these two opposing little 90-degree bends. So I'll just go like that and like that so that it sticks in the chuck of the drill really nice. Next thing I do is take a little bit, get a little more slack going on with this 36 gauge like that and wrap it around the first little bit here just to get some tension inside the chuck of the drill so that the wire doesn't go flying everywhere and loosen up or anything like that. So there we go. Next thing, put it right in the center of the chuck of that drill. Tighten her down. And then you want to just open up the clamp just a little bit so you can get the lead space going here. Just you want that first little bit of wire heading straight down. So this is going to take a little bit of finesse here. You want it straight up and down and make sure it stays in the bottom hole and that it's loose enough so that it can move back and forth, but it's got no slack in the wire there. So that looks pretty good to me. And the last thing we do before we fire up our drill is I snip just the tip of the end off on the other side, just so the wires can kind of freely float around a little bit. Oops. And that's it. We are all set up. Let's go ahead and make ourselves some fuse Clapton wire. And just like that, we have about a foot of fuse Clapton wire. So that was pretty darn easy. I gotta love this thing. This little Clapton jig rig that I've got here from Vape 3D. Make sure you check them out. I've got a coupon code and all that good stuff. So a lot of people have been saying that the Daedalus is a good thing too. Is that how it's pronounced? Daedalus? I'm not quite sure, but in any case, yeah, I'm kind of interested in checking that out myself. If you want to see that, I might order one, so just drop a comment in the box below and we'll see what we can do about that for you guys. So there we go. Let's give you guys a close-up on this wire. And with very little effort, we have a nice strand of fuse Clapton wire to use for these jumbo Claptons, so let's go ahead and get started wrapping. So on our coil jig, we've got a 3.5mm bit. You can also use a 4mm bit if you would like to, but I think this one is going to be just right for my style of building. So yeah, just going to make a simple little 7-wrap Clapton. It might be a little bit wider of a coil than I'm used to, but I think it will fit no problem with this ginormous Addy that we're going to be using today. So let's go ahead and give it a shot here. Just keep good amount of tension on that. This wire is a little bit springy. Five, 6, and 7. Looking good. All right. Just bring it all the way back around. You want to put about an extra half of a wrap on there, or like half of a wrap worth of tension on there, so it kind of springs back towards you where you started from. So there you go. This one's going to be a little bit tricky getting it out of the jig, but we'll give it a shot here, and we'll make another coil. And there we go. We got some nice big fuse Claptons for you guys. So let's go ahead and bring in our mod real quick and let's install them. All right, so today I'm going to be building on this Kennedy 25mm. This thing is a absolute beast, but it looks like our coils are going to line up really nice. Simple installation. Just want to pop one in like that. And the other side. There we go. All right. So now we just kind of want to put our bit back through and just kind of position our coils where we like them. I like mine as close to the post as possible without touching, so that's what I'm shooting for. And when you, sorry about that, when you find that you get a leg that's good, you just want to give it a little bend like that, just so it stays in place really nicely. And the reason I put my bit back through when I'm moving is because that keeps the shape really nicely too. So there we go. All right, everything's looking good. So let's tighten down our positive terminal. Let's find our Allen wrench. So tighten down the positive real quick. Like that. And now if you have to pull on these leads at all, you can do so. And you don't have to worry about the other end just kind of flying out everywhere. So you can kind of yank on a little bit, reposition it, get everything squared away before you actually finalize everything. And right about there is where I want it. So we'll tighten it down. Doesn't take much because these coils take up a lot of room. All right, we're looking pretty good. So let's just go ahead and snip off our excess wire here. You want to get these as close to the posts as possible, but try not to snip your other coil. There we go. One more. Boo! Wow, that went flying. All right, we're looking pretty good. Let's just go ahead and give these a little nudge here. Raise them up, you know, position them, space them out. Do whatever you want to do. Get them where you like them. Making sure they're even, vertically, horizontally, every which way you look at them. You want them as even as possible. So, yeah, we're looking pretty good. Next step, giving them some heat. So I have my mod here set to 45 watts. We just want a little tiny bit of heat to start it off with. Just kind of pulse out some of the color there. You would just want to barely give it any heat, just to see if you have any hot spots or anything like that. You want to grab your ceramic tweezers, just kind of give them a little pinch here and there. Best way to use the ceramic tweezers, you can heat it up with the tweezers on there as you're squeezing, and then brush it across like that. And usually I let it cool a little bit with the tweezers set on there. Because that way it kind of compresses the coil and stays that way. Kind of go back and forth, just kind of brushing across, pinching, making sure everything's nice and tuned. There we go. All right, I think we're ready for the high wattage test. So I've got my mod up to 75 watts. Let's go ahead and give these another shot here. There we go. Already, I think we are in pretty good shape here. So just going to kind of double check the little Allen keys, making sure everything's still nice and tight, because these can loosen up on you with a little bit of heat. So just double, triple check. And yeah, I think we're looking pretty good. Let's get it up to 120 watt test. This is probably going to be about the final resistance here, so let's give it a shot. I think we're looking good. There's no real spaces or gaps in our coil. It's glowing nice from the inside out. Ah, gotta love the fuse Clapton. And there we go. Let's go ahead and wick this guy. All right, it's the moment of truth. We've got our mod set at 120 watts. Let's give it a shot. Looks good to me. Let's go back to the main screen, have a quick vape on this thing, and we'll talk about it some more. Alright guys, I hope you enjoyed the build section of the video. Now let's talk about the coils that we just built. So first and foremost, these coils came out to 0.19 ohms. I'm vaping them at 120 watts, which comes out to about 4.8, 4.9 volts, which is pretty appropriate, I feel like, for something like this. These coils can definitely handle higher wattages, which is kind of what I was shooting for with this one here. So my first category, as always, is the heat. The heat on this one is a little bit up there. I'd say it's a good warm to hot vape. It's not too hot. It's not overly hot because the airflow on this Kennedy is massive. You gotta love the Kennedy airflow for that reason alone. I think personally the Kennedy airflow is absolutely spot on, right where I like it to be. If you're vaping on something like a Buddha or a Temple or a Mason or something like that, you're gonna have enough airflow to cool down these coils sufficiently. But yeah, I would definitely recommend vaping these ones wide open because they do get to be a little bit warm. My second category is the ramp up and ramp down time. The ramp up time is a good second. I would say it's a full second of ramp up time before it really gets going. This one kind of chugs along at 120 watts. I feel like I could vape it maybe at 135, 140 watts, but I really don't want to push them that high because I'm right at like the upper echelon of my temperature threshold. So just trying to keep these a little bit cooler by vaping them right where I'm at. So with that, let's go ahead and take a pull off of this thing. We'll check out the ramp down time. So yeah, I'm definitely getting a little bit longer of a ramp down than I was expecting. This one takes about 4 to 5 full seconds to ramp down, which is a bit on the high side for me, but I have a feeling it has to do with not only the amount of wire that's in these coils, but also the maximum amount of wicking material that I can use. With the combination with the 120 watts thrown in, I feel like that's going to be kind of normal. However, it's not a major sizzle, it's not a big crackle or anything like that after you release the button. It's just kind of a mellow sizzle, so it kind of Starts off just kind of mellow, sizzling down to about nothing after 5 seconds. Nothing major, but I feel like there's nothing really I could do to prevent that. So my third category is the difficulty of this build. This one should be pretty easy if you've mastered the Fuse Clapton already. This is no different than a normal Fuse Clapton build. It's just a little bit bigger. So with that, I would say this one is definitely for your kind of intermediate builders. If you've got the base knowledge of regular coils, macro coils, that kind of thing, you're going to be able to get this one no problem. So with that, I would say definitely try this one out if you've got something that can handle this sort of build. I would really highly recommend it just because you could vape it a little bit higher than a standard kind of Fuse Clapton configuration with, you know, a 3mm coil. The 3.5 can definitely take a little bit higher wattage. So my final category is the flavor. How's the flavor on this one? Well, today I'm vaping on some of this Peel e-Liquids apple flavor. It's just a standard red apple. I got it in my Craft Vapery box the other day, and I really wanted to try it out on some fresh cotton. That's why I did it on this build here. And yeah, I'm glad I did because the flavor is refreshing. It's light, it's sweet, it's a little bit tart. It's just spot on, right what I was expecting, and I'm absolutely loving it. Of course, the flavor stands up with any other Fuse Clapton build. It's really good. I think, personally, I'm going to say this 1,000 times, Fuse Claptons are like the best flavor coils out there. Now, granted, I haven't tried every single build in the world, but I really have confidence in saying that because I absolutely love the flavor that I get with Fuse Claptons, and there is absolutely no difference with jumbo Fuse Claptons. So there you go. Anyways, guys, that about does it for this video. I hope you enjoyed. If you did, make sure you hit that like button and subscribe for more videos just like this. Of course, leave me comments in the box below about what you think of this build, whether or not you want to try it out for yourself, or if you have a suggestion for future Fresh Build Friday videos, make sure you drop it in the box below. I'd love to discuss things further with you down there. With that, I would like to invite you to check out the advocacy links as well. I've got them down there for you so you can fight for your right to vape. And check me out on my different social medias. I've got Twitter and Instagram. Make sure you follow me on there. Like my page on Facebook. Check out my Snapchat. And if you want to give me a couple bucks on Patreon, that would be awesome as well. You guys are the best. Thank you so much for joining me. And as always, vape on.